Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is my first video of 2020. Just wanted to give kind of a quick health update and channel update combined. First things first, I've had to start on a new type of insulin. I don't know if I mentioned this. I know I mentioned it on social media, my other social media platforms, but I had started needing to use an excessive amount of insulin towards the end of last year. Now, I know that over time, people with type 1 diabetes can develop insulin resistance, and I've had type 1 for over 30 years, so that's realistic to think. However, usually it doesn't set in over the course of like a month. Anyway, I kept getting occlusion alarms on my pump, and the infusion sites were incredibly red and irritated, and finally I convinced my doctor that, I think this is a problem with the insulin, not the pump itself, because I can inject in, even if I inject insulin, it still takes quite a few more units than it did previously to bring my blood sugars down. So I'm now on Novalog. I had been on Humalog, which I started right when that came out in '96. Prior to that, I was on RNN. 2006, I went to Lantus, so pretty much been on Humalog for 24-ish years. January, I made the switch over to Novalog, and oh my gosh, I am so sensitive to Novalog. It's amazing. Like, I've gone from, I started out needing only 30 units of Humalog when I started on my pump in 2018. Then I jumped up to like needing 100 units of Humalog. Now I'm back down to needing 30 or less units of Novalog. So my sensitivity has returned to where it was when I first started on my pump, which is awesome. Actually, I think it's a little bit better than when I first started on my pump, because I probably was getting resistant to Humalog prior to that. Also, I mentioned at the end of last year in my last video that I wanted to be healthier this year, not get sick as often. First week of January, got hit with the flu. Then as a result of the flu, got a sinus infection, which took not one, but 2 rounds of antibiotics to get rid of. First week of February, so this past week, I noticed that my right eye, the one that had the corneal erosion and had to have a debridement done last year, was hurting the same way that it did in the middle of last year. So having another corneal debridement done this coming week. So much for being healthier. Now, as far as the channel goes, I have a plan. I mentioned this on Twitter, and I'll mention some suggestions that I may need coming forward, but I would like to do an entire series on the various types of diabetes. Right now, I know, I want to cover type 1, type 2, gestational diabetes, MODY, LADA, and what is that? The breathing one, the lung one. Cystic fibrosis induced diabetes. And I think I might also cover diabetes insipidus. But if you guys can think of another type of diabetes that I may have missed in that, feel free to mention that below. I may use the internet as a research tool. In fact, I know I'm going to use the internet, but I'm going to stick to sites that are reputable. So probably the NIH site, NHS, CDC, World Health Organization, Mayo Clinic, WebMD, and if you guys can think of additional websites that I can get some good information on those various diabetes types, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, that's about it for now. I have to go eat lunch. I've not had any food today, so I'm doing some intermittent fasting. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Okay, bye.